Hey, this is Dave Pryor. Welcome back to Agile 2019. Here in the Leading Agile booth, we're doing interviews all week long with speakers, thought leaders, and talking to people that are helping bring Agile into their organizations. And Natalie Solomon is here. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Dave.
I know that where you work, you have created a culture that is, from everything I hear, like the wonderland of agility. Everybody I know who goes there raves about it. And I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit about what went into that, how you guys support it, how you know it's working.
Mm-hmm. So I think for me, as my leadership style, no matter what organization that I go to, I really look to, first off, I spend time figuring out the culture of the organization so that I can then figure out who is best fit to come in for my leadership team to help us drive that transformation. So I really spend that time getting to know the executives that are within the organization so that I can, as I start my search, looking for the right qualities within my team that I'm going to be bringing in, because that's how we're really going to have the biggest impact. And I can tell you that I have made some bad hires in the past, and they weren't bad hires based on skill set, bad fits. And bad fits can be so disruptive to the work that you're trying to do. So I really focus on the organizations that I'm going into to understand their culture.
So you're basically listening to their culture first, and then thinking about what you want to create to support what you're trying to do.
Correct. So I spend that time in that due diligence, and then I really then set out on my search for building out my leadership team. And really spending the time at that point, really getting to know the folks that are coming on my team and culturally fit with me as a people leader. To ensure that we're going to work well together, so that we are going to bring the best to the organization that I'm building and to the company that I'm working for.
Does that mean that you're looking for people that are all of the same mindset, or you're looking for people that are going to challenge you or push you in different ways? Like what are some key things that you look for?
Yeah, I would say not the same mindset. I truly believe in building a diverse team. One that we can challenge one another openly. But in a very healthy manner, so that we're actually pushing one another for the greater good of the organization, and really building out that complementary leadership team. And I really look to build a cross-pollinated kind of organization in terms of what they bring from like their toolkit into the organization, because if we have just one style and they have the same toolkit, I won't be able to actually move the needle in the organization that I'm in. So really understanding that to build a complementary and well-balanced leadership team.
So when you bring these people in, how do you teach them about the culture or encourage them to become part of it? Like, what are things that you do to onboard that aspect of it? Because there's all the company stuff, but you want your team to be flavored a certain way, I guess.
So I think during the interview process, that's where it starts with me. So depending on the organization's interview process, I usually spend my time not focused on job fit, because I already have done pre-screening on job fit, but really understanding who they are and how they tick and what their mindset and what their goals are. Because for me, it's being able to understand what they're looking to do to accomplish so that they're happy in the roles that they are playing in our journey for our Agile transformations.
And does this find its way back upstairs to manage? Because you're listening to their culture, creating one that you think will help with the Agile transformation and supporting Agile. But how are you making changes to the culture or trying to influence the culture upstairs? Trying
to influence the culture. I think, it depends on the organization. Where I'm at is I've seen so many the leadership level missing the impact that you can have from a leadership style perspective and the change management piece of it. So often leaders, whether it's the sponsor, they think, all right, we've been on this Agile journey for a while. We've trained our tech teams to do Agile. We've got our Scrum Masters and Product Owners certified, and we've had coaches that have come in and out and have been unsuccessful in change. And I believe personally that the biggest impact that you can have is changing the hearts and minds of the leaders that are on the ground.
Okay.
And I'm talking about from not just the C-level, but all the way down to the people closest to the people being impacted by the change.
Okay.
And I think that's where we're missing it. I think that's where so many organizations are missing their being able to see the benefits of the Agile transformation, because we've missed the people side of the change. Because we are asking leaders that I will say are managers, right?
Sure.
They're not leaders today. Like, there's a big difference between a manager and a leader. And how do we cultivate and teach and grow that leadership team that are dealing with the folks that are on the ground, what their role is in the new world?
Okay.
And by missing that, and that's hard. And that's hard because so often I take a lot more arrows than I make champions, I feel like, in many organizations. But once you're able to create that why and really understand what's in it for them, to be able to help shift how they're thinking, that's where I've been able to have an impact with managers level that are down at the team level.
Okay. And you just said you take a lot of arrows.
Mm-hmm.
How do you cope with that? I mean, that is the thing that often people are just terrified of that, or they kind of seize up when that happens. Like, how do you cope with that in the workplace? And how much of that are the people that work for you aware of?
I would say it depends on my team and what organization. I will say, how do I do that? I live, I believe in brave leadership. I mean, I wear this every day.
Oh, great.
So I remind myself of that every day. Like, I'm a champion. I'm a change agent to everything that I do, and I will fight the fight. I'm fighting the fight behind the scenes for my team. Right. If I need to be up in front, taking the arrows up front personally for my team, I'm up doing that. Okay. And I can tell you in the organizations that I've led, all the way down to when I've had a full continuous improvement team of team level coaches and the Scrum Masters, they see what I'm doing and the impact that I'm having for them in creating the space for them to be able to grow and learn so that they can be bigger change agents and kind of our force multiplier from the ground up, so that we're hitting it from both top down and bottoms up and really creating that space for them.
And what has this done to things like employee retention?
So I would say it depends on the organization.
Sure.
For what I've seen within some of the last organizations, it's had a huge impact. So, and it's also had an impact on employee morale, which obviously impacts engagement. And when you have happy people working for you, they're going to take a hill for you to help you move this along. So I've seen an incredibly positive impact when it's been focused specifically on my team. Okay.
I guess I can validate that because I know someone that works for her, and I've never seen him happier or more engaged in what he's doing. So it is really cool to see.
Thank you.
Is there something that you wish you had known way back that you could offer as a piece of advice for somebody who's trying to reach the state that you're at with your culture?
So I think one of the biggest changes, like one of the biggest impacts that I think you can have that I think is so often overlooked is that aspect of understanding how important it is as a change agent to change the hearts and minds of the people that are closest to the people being impacted. So often, and I think about, for those of you who are familiar with change management practices out there, there's ProSci actually did as an annual study, and they talk about the fact that the people being impacted by the change on the ground want to hear why this is happening and the impact to it from their people leader. So often that comes out from a communications or from executive level. They want to hear that directly from the people leader. And we as change agents, if we don't get that message right, like if we don't create, we need to think of those people leaders as people first before they're people leaders, and be able to create that excitement and enticement of why we are actually doing this, so they can convey that message to the individuals that are being impacted, and then be able to provide those people leaders with support. and be able to help them really be able to help their teams. Because if we miss that message, which so many organizations really miss that, then you're going to get Swiss cheese adoption, and you're not going to see the real benefits and the value of what you're trying to drive from a change perspective.
Okay. And when you say Swiss cheese, I'm thinking like all the people that are going to be resistant to it, just terrified of it, don't understand it because nobody talked to them and they can't communicate with other folks.
And they've heard it for so many years and they're like, here's this Agile coach,
just
let's just wait and they'll be gone. That'll be somebody else. And so just do it, check the box and be done. And that is getting, I believe that is core to getting in the way of what everybody is doing from an Agile transformation perspective.
Okay. This was really great. Thank you very much for doing this. If people want to reach out to you with some questions about this stuff, what's the best way for them to reach out?
Sure. They can reach out to LinkedIn and LinkedIn on Natalie Solomon Divney out on LinkedIn.
Cool. Thank you very much for coming by. I hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
I will. Thank you,
And thank you for giving my friends such a happy place to work.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.